Hey, welcome back to the Garage Orlov Show. It's episode 629. It's November 24th, 2022. It's Thanksgiving. It's not even 6 o'clock a.m. here, but getting some work done here in the comic book room so that I can go and help my wife prepare Thanksgiving dinner. It's Forrest J. Ackerman's birthday. Yesterday was Boris Karloff's birthday, so it's a great time of year. Thinking about what I'm thankful for, and hopefully you guys all have a great day. I haven't done a show since last Saturday. It's now Thursday, obviously, being Thanksgiving. And I haven't been back to working on these posters. I need to get these posters transferred into this closet, then I can get back to the comics, which is probably what most of you are here for, though I don't want this channel to be exclusively a comic book channel because, I collect a lot of things. Okay, so here's a poster for Get Yourself a College Girl. The Dave Clark Five, the Animals, Stan Getz, the Standells. Yeah, the Standells appeared on the Munsters. I'm sure you all know that. A great Los Angeles band. Look at this, four fiendish features in a new horror show, Blood-O-Rama. How much shock can you stand? You have Blood Fiend with Christopher Lee. You've got Blood Drinkers, which you can tell is a movie from the Philippines, and Blood Creature. Oh, and you also have Brides of Blood. Look at that. How about that? He's ripping off someone's arm, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so used to be in the movie poster shops. They would have these boards and bags, and you could. That's really a great way to have posters instead of putting them in a pile. I used to be able to get these bags and boards when there were stores in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I used to live. But that seems like that was a lot of years ago. Remember When was a store that had posters, and Guy Steele had a store called Stage and Screen Gallery, and it later kind of became a comic book store too. I just noticed Guy Steele on Facebook, and he's opened a new store in Dallas just a few months ago. Of course, that's now 11 hours away, but I haven't seen Guy Steele in probably 20 years. He looks exactly the same, except he's got some gray hair, but completely recognizable. That's kind of cool. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, this is a Mondo movie, but a Mondo movie about torture all around the world. So, see the rack, the thumbscrew, the Iron Maiden, torture drugs that make men slaves, bizarre human sacrifices today. An authentic catalog of cruelty actually filmed in the dark corners of this sick world. Sadismo. And, oh, this is a great poster that is not framed. I don't know why it's not framed. The Virgin Sacrifice to the Gods of a Ghastly Galaxy. The Terror Knots. Look at this great illustration. Fantastic. It doesn't get much better than that. I wonder who painted that. That's so good, man. It almost could be Gray Morrow. I'd be surprised if it was. Oh, let's get some music going, man. It's not Thanksgiving without Christmas music. Maybe I've got some Christmas music. Seems like I did have some playing last time. Oh, Lance Jones. I interviewed him, it seems like a million years ago, back when I lived in Texas. I interviewed him on this show. If you go back, find a thumbnail for an episode that has Buck Rogers. I don't know why I used a picture of Buck Rogers for this particular episode. Kind of an infamous episode where I got angry at a friend at the end of the show, and it's kind of horrible. Kind of ashamed of myself how mad I got. But it's all on film. But earlier in the episode, I interviewed Lance Jones. What Lance Jones does is he's put out literally thousands. Sometimes he'll put out 7 books in a day. And what they are pretty thick books, usually, or different lengths. He puts out black and white versions, color versions of public domain comics. And it's surprising how many classic comic books didn't have the copyright put on properly or it's expired. So he puts these books into print that otherwise you would never be able to get in a lifetime of collecting. And anyway, what he does is he uploads the files to Amazon, and then you can buy the books from Amazon, and then 2 days later the book shows up. But the book did not exist when you ordered it. Amazon has a facility where they print books, and they can do it like instantly. It's some amazing new computer technology. Well, the other day Amazon just said, we're deleting your entire catalog of thousands of books. You know, we're not going to service you anymore. So now he's going to have to upload all of these to Barnes and Noble's. So I think he's only got 7 books put up now of the thousands that he has files for. So it's a big hassle, and apparently Amazon gave you your own. They gave you free ISBN numbers for the books, but now he has to buy his own. So the books are going to be more expensive now, bottom line. And I think he's protesting it, but you know, Amazon's such a big evil entity that they don't care about little guys like him. Oh, the nuclear sirens go off every so often, but it's okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Here's a movie that probably no one's seen. Teenage gangs rip highways and skies with thrills and terror. It's Hot Angel. So it's a juvenile delinquent movie that actually involves airplanes instead of just cars and motorcycles. This is Carnival Rock, an early rock and roll movie. It's got Bob Luman, the Platters, David Houston, the Shadows, the Blockbusters. It's got Dick Miller in it. Anyway, what do you think? Oh, come on, we don't want the sounds of vomiting. There it is. Stuff you haven't seen. Here's a half sheet. See, I don't know if you know movie poster terminology, and I don't mean to insult you, but a lot of you are comic book people, and you may not know much about movie poster collecting, so I don't want to patronize you, but see, this is called a half sheet. And this is terminology that's not really used anymore, because in modern movie theaters, I think they just have 1 sheets, like what I was showing you. Those are 1 sheets. But in the old days, movie theater lobbies were giant, and they would have half sheets. They'd have 1 sheets. They would have inserts. I was looking up here because there used to be inserts here, but I changed this yesterday before work. I came up here, got up early, and put up 2 of the Marvel Blacklight posters that I got for a couple of bucks each in the 90s from a store in Grand Prairie that had tons of these. Oh, this is called a lobby card. I was a Teenage Frankenstein. I moved this around a little bit. My wife was commenting, you know, when I was putting on the last show that I filmed last Saturday, she said, you know, that composition on the wall, you know, it doesn't really. She was thought about, we need to get rid of this wallpaper, and there's wallpaper even on the ceiling, and paint the room. But she says, you know, the way you've put the pictures up, you just put them up haphazardly, and she was really right, and I knew that, and I'd already thought that. And this looks better because it just was something cheesy. Plus, if it's a comic book room, there should be more comic book oriented posters than movie posters. And I still got some movie. I moved the posters that were here out into the. I don't know what you call it when you get up to the top of the stairs. It's like a common area. I don't know what you would call it. Okay, let me. When we were moving, it was pouring down rain when they were unloading one of the moving vans, and these posters were about to get drenched, and I saved them just in time. I had to take them out of the plastic that was drenched in water. But this is the Deadly Mantis. I love the little comic book style panels. Hungering for human prey. That's great. Tell you what, let me get rid of this cardboard. I'm going to put these flat. Where was the Count Chocula poster? Okay, I'm trying to figure out okay, obviously this must have been what I was showing you last week when the phone ran out of memory. It's a poster of your village. It's a map of your village from the great TV show The Prisoner. It's kind of an unofficial sequel to Secret Agent, also known as Secret Agent Man. Patrick McGowan. You know, he was a secret agent in Secret Agent, and then in The Prisoner, you've got a secret agent who turns in his badge, I'm quitting, and they, obviously he wasn't allowed to quit because they come get him and take him off to an island, kind of like a Gitmo kind of thing. Very cool TV show. Okay, this is a Jane Mansfield movie, kind of towards the latter part of her career. Spree. Oh, look, well-known star photograph deleted by order of the Superior Court of the State of California. So, down here it says, notice, by order of the Superior Court of the State of California, the producers are prohibited from using the advertising and promotion of Spree, the names and photos of certain well-known Hollywood stars. For this special engagement, Spree will be shown with every scene intact exactly as photographed. Anyway, I guess that would that marketing work today? Black Panther, we refuse to tell you who the stars of the show are. The Superior Court says we can't tell you who's in this movie, but it's probably someone amazing. Of course it wasn't. All right. Now, if you were a 10 or 12-year-old, could you resist seeing Hercules against the Moon Men? If you were in a movie theater lobby and saw this, how could you resist going back the next week to see Hercules fighting the Moon Men? What else do we have here? Okay, I need to put these in a different spot somewhere. This is Frank Frazetta print. from the latter part of her career. Here's a Will Elder, signed by Will Elder. It's 197 of 1500 print. It's got the a lot of the EC, early EC Mad. Well, Mad was always EC. The color Mad characters that, and the only one that is not from the Mad EC comics is Little Annie Fanny there, which apparently they're all chasing, except for the heroes in the center who are based on DC heroes, except for the little guy who's based on Raymond from the Inner Sanctum radio series. So these I'll put in a separate spot. This movie poster, sometimes I get movie posters that are in bad shape, and this is really not something that you should do. It's frowned upon by collectors. It's mounted to foam board, and it can make the poster look good and gets rid of creases and tears and things, but if I was to drop this, the cardboard would dent in. It's really, if you're going to do this, it really should be framed, but this is an early kind of nudie movie, Adam and Six Eves. So if this poster was in front of a movie theater, it was not a family movie theater. It was a sleazy theater. Now, in Denton, Texas, in the town square, there used to be a movie theater that ran this kind of movies in the 1960s. It's now a lawyer's office. It's right next to Recycled Books, right across the street from Recycled Books and Records if you live in Denton. The guy that used to run that theater in the mid-1980s, several decades later, set up at a flea market in Fort Worth. And at a party, these friends of ours from Fort Worth said, there's this guy, I think his name was Johnny, that sets up at the Cattle Barn Flea Market over in Fort Worth. You won't believe it. He's got all these posters for like Faster, Pussycat, Kill, Kill, every exploitation and sexploitation film, and he's selling them for $20 each. And these 2000 Maniacs, that's where my 2000 Maniacs poster came from. And posters for Blood Feast, he's got everything. And I think he was only charging $10, maybe $20. It was something very inexpensive for posters, and this was one of them. The only thing he charges more for are John Wayne and Marilyn Monroe movies, because obviously everyone knows it's like, and of course those are valuable. It's kind of like in record collecting. The average person at a garage sale knows, oh, it's Beatles, it's Elvis, that needs to be more. In reality, not necessarily, because they made so many of those albums. They aren't necessarily the most expensive ones. So anyway, my point is, we got a lot of cool posters from that guy. And then my friend Tom Ranoni ingratiated himself with this sleazy guy and went out to his, way out in the country, to his Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of house where this guy that used to run the theater lived, and he had a shed, and it was filled with old 35mm trailers for exploitation movies, and everything from Viva Las Vegas to James Bond movies to Blood Feast. And he bought up all these trailers, had them transferred professionally, and then released it on Laserdisc. I have a VHS copy of that. Oh, we had a friend that was a manager of the Lowe's Theater in Arlington, Texas, and we went in one morning before, real early before the people came in and to watch the movies, and he put those trailers on the platter, and we watched on the big screen all these trailers for all these exploitation movies. It was quite an experience. That would have been in the 80s. In fact, I think I just found his Yeah, this is what he made, and it shows, it's like a little, once he bought all those trailers, he called it Trailers from the Crypt. He used this girl from a Russ Meyer poster, I think a poster I showed you last time. And it says nearly 3 hours of the most blood-curdling, savage, sleazy, action-packed movie previews ever assembled by man, all from original 35mm theatrical trailers, professionally transferred on a rank Centel, enough for 2 mind-blowing volumes, plus original 1950s theater tags carefully interspersed. So what he's trying to do, is market these, and he has listed every trailer that he has, the year it came out, Terror of the Blood Hunters, The Manster with the Horror Chamber of Dr. Faustus, The Wizard of Gore, Goliath and the Barbarians, The Exotic Ones, Untamed Women, Sadismo, Viva Las. It was all the stuff that movies you're seeing here. He had the trailers for them. Okay, let's see what can I do next. This is a trailer. This is a flyer for the Houston Con from June of 1978. My wife was about 2 months old when this con happened. I did not go to the con. I would have been 13 then, because it was in Houston, and that would be a 4-hour drive, and that's kind of hard to get there on a bike. But they had Gil Kane and Rick Baker, Frank Bruner, Ray Harryhausen, Jeanette Kahn, Frankie Thomas, Kerry Gamble. Kerry Gamble lived in Fort Worth, so that wouldn't have been he was a Texas guy. They have what films that we're going to be playing: Black Hawk, Radar Men from the Moon, Dealer's Room. Anyway, it's cool to found this downstairs. It's cool when you find these flyers, because I save everything. I must have picked up that flyer at Lone Star Comics in the summer of '78. Lone Star Comics would have been 1 year old. It opened around June of right about the time Star Wars opened. What a summer of '77. Having a comic book store open in your town, and Star Wars comes out. Star Wars used to be a wonder. Those used to be such wonderful words. Star Wars. Now I hear Star Wars and I just think of a steaming pile of shit. Disney is destroyed. A new guy just took over Disney, but he's the guy that used to run it. Yeah, mainly because the new guy is really doubled down on defending horrible things and fighting with DeSantis, but I don't think anything's going to help. Unfortunately, the Marvel movies that were great for about 10 years, and the last, 5 years, they've turned to absolute shit. How do you destroy? It's like they're intentionally trying to destroy everything they bought. Whatever, dude. Let's see. Used to be a militaria store where I lived called D's Militaria. It was run by an old Marine, and he would have all kinds of stuff you could buy. But some of the cheaper stuff, just pages he cut out of old World War II magazines, and I would pick up some of this just because it's neat looking. So because this is mounted on board, I'm gonna put this over here. I could put that in a different pile. This is looks like this was something when we were, my friend Tom was trying to make a movie. They saved Elvis's brain. This is a drawing I did back in the mid 1980s. Looks like I'll put that here. Hey, I need to go downstairs for a second and check on something I'm recording, because because I'm recording from YouTube, and if you don't mess with it once every hour, then it stops playing and says, "Are you still watching this? Please press yes or no," because I want to make sure that people are watching. I put this mask back in the box for the first time in a couple of decades. My childhood Planet of the Apes. Looks like it was $2.99 at what store? This is the Planet of the Apes Warrior. What is that store called? Can't read, man. Does that say Will? Oh, it's Wins. W-I-N-N apostrophe S. Wins was a 5 and dime in San Antonio. So this is what I've got. I have this tattered. I only have the cover for this issue of Weird Science because it was in a bundle of what they call Wounded Wonders that they used to sell at Lone Star Comics. So I'm trying to make it more comic oriented here. As cover a pageant, a swinging bride for Batman. Of course, that's not Adam West. That's why they're covering his face. We got some Wally Wood, and there's some Nick Fury parody from National Lampoon, and here's great graphic man art. Here's the blacklight poster of the Silver Surfer. Let's not forget John F. Kennedy, because just a couple of days ago was the 59th anniversary of the assassination of Kennedy. And I think over at the Texas Theater back in Dallas, they were running War is Hell and Cry of Battle, or some the two movies that were playing when Oswald snuck in. So this is the way it is. These are the posters we're going to look at here today, and here's an insert for Teenage Caveman. See that guy there? He's the man from U.N.C.L.E. See, Robert Vaughn. And you tell the original painting, she didn't have any clothes on, but look how they really slickly kind of drew on a wet, tight-fitting cave woman outfit that you can tell was put on there later just to not be as offensive. These are not real Sheena covers. This is someone in an antique mall that probably just did color copies and framed them up. This is a great movie. I don't know if it's on streaming or not. Comic Book Confidential from the 80s. All right. So where are the posters that used to be up in here? I'll show you. So yeah, there's the Dr. No poster, which is not real. That was a bootleg my friend Tom made of the first James Bond movie. I noticed that someone's made a Dr. No pinball machine. I had no idea. Okay, so this was always here, but I just put this up. And then the Clara Bow poster that used to be in the comic book room is here. And then over here, this is, that's Mary Pickford. And then you've got the Disembodied. And then this is the Attack of the Crab Monsters poster that used to be in the comic book room. And if you can see there, there's a Roger Corman autograph. I've told you that story before, that my friend was going into a liquor store in Los Angeles and saw my friend Tom, of course. I always talk about him. He's going into this liquor store, and Roger Corman is coming out, with his whatever liquor he just bought. And my friend Tom says, "Hey, you mind if you autograph this poster?" He just happened to have the Attack of the Crab Monsters on the back seat of his Cadillac. And just like he knew that he was going to run into Roger Corman, and so he signed it. So there's a little story behind that. So this is something I painted. This is what I normally look like when I don't do my shows. That's a photograph of the real Gratu Orloff. I put on this human form occasionally to do my broadcast. This is a giclée of the great artist XNO. I don't know who this artist is. Boy, though, that light is really obnoxious. This painting of Ed Wood was done by my friend Joe Riley, who was and he just gave it to me for my birthday in 1995. I've shown you all this stuff before, sorry. This is a painting of Clara Bow that once hung in her house. These here are real paintings by XNO, not Giclées. This is dated 1991. This is another painting done by my friend Joe Riley. 1995. A date which will live in infamy. 1995. That was a good year in some ways. I don't think it was a good year for comic books, but that's debatable. Oh man, I'm gonna get a copyright, whatever you call it, claim for this. Don't listen. I'm gonna put my finger over the microphone. Shit. Okay, I pressed the button, so now it's good for another hour and 5 minutes before it will stop playing. Yes, Christmas decorations. When Christmas is over, I'll just move them into another room. There's no reason for Christmas to ever be over. It's ridiculous. Besides, Christmas is a figment of your imagination. They say that, oh, you know what I heard? That Jesus Christ was actually born like September 11th, like right around that time. If you're a Bible historian, perhaps you can tell me if I'm correct, which is why that date was chosen to do what we know about. It was like an FU. Because December 25th is holiday. It's a holiday hijacked from the ancient Germanic people. We saw the Northman finally. Everyone was talking about the Northman and how this movie is not woke. It's a movie about the Vikings, and that along with that Top Gun remake, everyone was saying this is just the greatest thing. Hollywood's actually doing a non-woke movie. So I finally saw Northman on some streaming channel, and I enjoyed it. It's like sword and sorcery. The sorcery element, could just be in the imaginations of the characters when Valkyries appear, and the famous scene in the Conan the Barbarian film with Schwarzenegger, which in the original Robert E. Howard pulp story and in the Marvel comics, he goes in to get his sword as a teenager from this it's a giant dead guy, Nephilim looking guy there with a sword on his lap, and then the thing comes to life and fights him, and he defeats the dead giant, and he has this sword. In the movie, he goes in, takes the sword, and then starts to move, and you say, oh, this is the big fight scene, but the thing just crumbles to dust. And what John Milius said he was trying to do was depict this as real history. What you've heard is the legend about Conan. This is what really happened. Of course, he later has the cult leader turn into a snake, and there's still sorcery in the movie, but he's trying to negate that and make it more historical. But anyway, there's almost an identical scene in this where the main character, the Viking and the Northman, goes in, and there's just right out of Conan, he takes the skeleton, but then it does start fighting him. Then you have a fight scene, he defeats him, and then it cuts to him taking the sword, and that was all in his mind. So it has both ways. I don't know enough, and I don't know if historians know enough about the Viking culture for us to say that how accurate some of the perverse pagan stuff where they're running around naked stuff actually is. And of course, my first thought is that Hollywood wants to make that European culture look more savage than it might have really been. Of course, we know the Vikings were very violent, but they also have this holiday of Christmas that they came up with the tree and the Yule log and Odin and his 8-legged horse landing on roofs and kids putting out in stockings food for Odin's horse, and Odin coming to people's homes and telling stories, and then people write it down and it becomes their kind of their Bible, which was what was the name of their Bible? I forgot. We don't know a whole lot about that culture, and for them to throw in all this nudity and people running around frolicking in the woods, I don't know. But it sure makes doesn't make their culture seem like that appealing to that you'd want to live among them. But anyway, some religions, some people say we shouldn't celebrate Christmas because it's a pagan holiday. Yes, it is. But if you don't know that it's a pagan holiday and you really truly associate it with Jesus and you only think about Jesus, then I guess it's okay, but I don't know. You're here to look at collectibles. Highly collectible, very, very valuable collectibles, right? What the hell is this? I don't know what this is. I must have saved it because it's vaguely 60s looking. It's a poster for some local band that's playing at, Elm Street in Dallas. Elm Street in Dallas used to be the home of the blues back over 100 years ago, but in the local dialect, the guys that made the blues musicians deep far down Elm Street, they called it Deep Ellum. They pronounced Elm as a two-syllable word, Ellum. So Deep Ellum in Dallas was where the blues was big, and then starting in the 80s it became a punk rock area. A lot of punk rock bands in the old warehouses, and then I don't know what it is now. But yeah, that was the hip, and then it became like a hipster place where frat rats would go, and then. But in the early days of Deep Ellum, of the punk rock area, it was kind of a dangerous place to go because you had the local, you had a good place to get mugged. I was mugged there once. That was not a good experience. And then you had skinheads that were the very violent skinheads that were running the scene, running around there, and I think the FBI came in and ran them out. And a lot of them decided, heck with this, I'll just become a rockabilly person. And then they started listening to Carl Perkins and stuff and stopped being racist skinheads. The original skinheads were not racist in England, but they were into reggae music. But there's different. Who cares? All right. Here's these are called window cards. Oh shit! God damn it! It's great. Okay, it's good music, but it's Eddie Cochran, and I probably already have a copyright strike. That's not gonna shut my show down, but it just means if by some miracle I ever get to 1,000 subscribers, I won't be able to make money on this particular episode because I had some copywritten music playing in the background. I'm at 450 now. Of course, having said that, someone will unsubscribe just to piss me off. But yeah, that's great, and I'll have a 450 anniversary big celebration soon. But I'm not going to do it at 5:30 in the morning like right now because, if I start playing music loudly and having a party downstairs, I don't want my wife to get upset because she's still sleeping upstairs getting ready for our big holiday cooking. Yeah, sometimes she'll, I'll turn the music up, even though she's up on, she's 2 floors above. She says she feels like she's like living above a nightclub. I don't want to do that to her right now. Last night I missed the 4-Color Fossil show. I'm really sad that I did, but it was not a good scene last night. And we were out shopping, and she was freaking out, and I tried to put a nice message there. Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't even do it on my phone because my phone died. I had to do it on her phone. Hey, Oh, anyway, this is for a movie theater, but let's go out to the. It's a drive-in theater, so they're playing King Kong versus Godzilla, and Gidget Goes to Rome. So this is probably from what, about 1963. This is. I'll put this here. All right. Here's oh man, this is humbling when you see something look this brown. I guess it's the paper quality, but it makes me feel old. Of course, I am old. But this is I've designed this flyer for a party back March 7th, somewhere in the 1980s. But it's the Remember the Alamo party, so it's on March 7th. That was, I guess, the day the Alamo, one of the days of the Battle of the Alamo. Anyway, oh, we had Roy Davis, this guy, this Elvis impersonator showed up. Yeah, anyway, I designed this flyer for a party that, there's some videotape that exists of that 1980s party. I'll see if I can't upload that here to YouTube. He was an Elvis impersonator that I saw at Forum Mall. We saw him there, Forum Mall that no longer exists, and the guy was shocking looking. It's like the first time people saw Tiny Tim on Laugh-In with the big weird nose. I mean, it's just like, what? And this guy, he sounded pretty good. He kind of sounded like Elvis, but he had a huge Tiny Tim nose. He was just the weirdest looking guy, and you know, I'm a pretty weird looking guy, but this guy was weird. Roy Davis was his name. And yeah, anyway, so he was so weird we had to befriend him, and apparently he was invited to my friend Tom Renoni's brother's big house, because we were in college, but his brother was 10 years older and had his own house, so we could have parties there, and some of those parties got pretty wild, man. Like Animal House, not with that kind of destruction of property, but consumption of alcohol kind of things. This is country music on Broadway. This is a window card. It's blank up here, so they could write when the movie's gonna, where and when the movie's gonna be. They'd write in markers sometimes. So sometimes they'd print it on here, or screen it on, but it makes for, how do you, if you want to frame this, do you frame it with the blank space? What I did here, this is bigger than a window card, this one for the Mesa of Lost Women. I just put this Wednesday through Saturday thing, I just taped that on there on top of the glass after I framed it. I didn't feel like I should cut off that yellow. See this guy here? That's Uncle Fester. See, Jackie Coogan, who's a cute little kid in a Charlie Chaplin movie, but then he grew up to be, he doesn't look that weird yet. They made him look weirder for the Addams Family. Yeah, I had to frame that poster. So, all right. Yeah, sometimes you'll have it, information written there. Here's another one. Samson and the Seven Miracles of the World. Now this one is fake. Liberty Theater, because, obviously it's fake. It's Clara Bow and the Wild Party, but, it's obviously newly printed. This is not something from the 1920s. Oh, we had to make posters in the style of famous artists, so I made a Salvador Dali style poster when I was in high school art class. But then, for some reason, I trimmed off the top, and the art teacher and myself agree that I shouldn't have trimmed off the top because I destroyed the composition. But Oh man, that obviously looks like a bud. I don't know that I meant for it to do that, but then Salvador Dali was pretty perverted too. Anyway, there was more orange space at the top. Oh well, that's part of my history. Here's a. Oh, I need to put these lobby cards in a separate place too. This is a lobby card for Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, but it's not real. This is a replica that my friend. Oh boy, he was tricky. He even has stamps on the back. My friend Tom Mernoni was trying to make these look real. It might have been. I don't want to slander the dead, but I think he might have had hopes that he could maybe sell these on eBay as real things. And he might have been experimenting to see if he could make convincing looking fakes. And then when he realized he couldn't, he just said, here, you can have this. Anyway, back to real stuff. This is Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and the Wolfman, Terror. This was given to me by Captain Strangelife when he visited me in April. So that was very nice. I was a basket case then, so I didn't create a very good impression. I mean, I could barely get out of a chair because of the move, and then I got sick, and then I also hurt my ankle. It's like everything happened to me at once. He gave me this too, Horrors of the Black Museum. Also Mexican. These Mexican lobby cards you can get. They're less expensive, but I don't know that that's 100% true. I'm giving you information from several decades ago that may not be true anymore. So don't listen to me. Do your own research. Here's another. There was someone that set up at a flea market. This is White Slave Ship. Someone set up at a flea market in Dallas, and they were always there, and they had tons of these window cards. They must have, and I'd always be buying these when I went to the flea market, and I think they were very cheap. Oh yeah, on the back it's got stuff. Love Machine. So yeah, these are. I had tons of these. Here's the Frontier Drive-In Theater. They have Baby Doll playing. That's a good movie. Oh, and then one of my favorite movies, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, with Invasion of the Star Creatures. Look at that, man. Doesn't get much better than that. Now this is cool because it's yeah, this is great. Gala reopening of the Frontier Drive-In Theater. They're playing 1001 Arabian Nights with Mr. Magoo, Hellbent for Leather. Look, they've got a giant screen, good food. It's economical too. You can bring the kiddies and get more out of life. Hop in the car and come on out. It's just a great poster. The hell is this? These are meant for a school classroom. She's Marie Martinez, a Pueblo. So it looks like what they're trying to do here is show you great people from different cultures. Sitting Bull. Oh, I didn't know Will Rogers was Native American. I guess you all knew that, but I didn't know it. Cherokee. And Agnes Saliva. I'm Sevilla, Mojave. All right, wow. I've got all kinds of shit. I'll put this over here in the shit area. I mean, in the nice area. Here's a beat up poster. Hell's Horizon. Someone looks like someone was trying to write showing or now showing, and they were too untalented to complete the task. All right, hold on a second. Set this down, ladies and gentlemen. Where shall I put all this motherfucking shit? Over here, perhaps. I'm sorry, I promised I'd stop cussing on this channel. It offends people. This is an outdoor art exhibit in Paris. How wonderful. That's not something interesting enough. Okay. Astronomy, the solar, this is like stuff that's meant for school classrooms. I'll put this in a classroom educational section. Okay, here is a little framed picture of Elvis that must have come from a, what is this? You know, they would rip calendars apart at flea markets and sell each page for, you know, $6, and then they can make more money than selling the calendar intact. This is a painting I got at some garage sale someone did. That's not... Okay, so we're starting to show up with a bunch of shit. Actually, this is cool. This is meant for a classroom. It's a carnival in Grenoble, a place that no one's ever heard of. But it's cool because I just like the space-age design of the little rocket ships. So this is a key. Not that I'm going to throw that other stuff away, but I'm not going to put it in the cool area. Okay, so this goes in the uncool area. It's not cool. Okay. Here is now this is called a press book, and it's for the Ursula Andress movie She, which was a Hammer film. So what this is, it's meant it's filled with ads, different size ads, depending on what ads you want to run in the newspaper, and then you could have these fake newspaper articles to run in the newspaper to try to convince people to see your movie. But all the different sizes, it's basically a way to and then they show all the different kind of posters you could get for your movie theater lobby. So those are called press books. Here's one for Incredible Petrified World and Teenage Zombies. So, yeah, I've got a t-shirt that I bought at Half Price Books with a Teenage Zombies poster on the t-shirt. Yeah. This, where is it? Teenage Zombies, yeah. So, I'll have a section for press books. And then, here's just something I printed from the internet. But this is small. Oh, this is the Forum Mall Theater. I was telling you about that mall. It's an AMC theater. And they had midnight movies. So they would always have the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And Dawn of the Dead was always there. And Dawn of the Dead, whenever, I didn't date that many girls in high school, but of course, whenever I started dating a girl, it was time, we need to go see Dawn of the Dead, you know, at the Forum Mall, because I figure that's a test. If she likes that, then she's a cool girl. Later, I met this other friend who did the same thing. It's, you know, and you realize why we were so unsuccessful, that, you know, with that weird philosophy is to test a girl to see if they like Dawn of the Dead, which was an extremely, here's, you know, a gory film. Here's something I did out of boredom during the summer of June 1978. I created my own Vault of Horror comic, Terror in the Moonlight. So that's my astounding artwork. It's Quality Bulletin. Yeah, this is the state of my artwork as of summer of 1978. Now, and it looks like I started a story and never finished it. The Tales of Darkonia. Yeah, I got almost finished with the second panel. And then earlier on, I'd say this is about 3rd or 4th grade, I'd do things like this. The Great Bridge Fallen. Yep. And this is not my artwork. Oh, the guy that drew this is now, he later became a science teacher in San Antonio. Okay. Oh, this was man, I taught a student about, maybe it was 10 years ago. She was such a great artist. I hope that she makes it and becomes, this was like a seventh grader. But I guess she did, she crossed out words because she gave this, she gave me a lot of her artwork, and I published a lot of it in the school newspapers. Anything I could get of hers, I would publish in it. But this is the song "Creep" by Radiohead, and so she's put the lyrics around this illustration, but she's censored out all the words there were some inappropriate words. If you ever listen to that song, boy, that's cool. Yeah, I love saving artwork done by very talented artist students. Okay, I'm starting to develop too many piles of. I'm getting confused. Well, later I'm going to put these in filing cabinets and. Man, what is all this crap? Oh, okay. This is some. The hell? All right. Oh, this is from some burlesque show, and it's autographed by a couple of the burlesque girls, and that's not interesting to me. I'll set it here. Oh, this is kind of cool. This was in a convenience store window, and it was they were doing a Charles Adams play somewhere, and I just liked the poster, and the play, it was already over, and I asked them if I could have the poster, and they let me have it because they could give a shit. Here is a very funny episode of The Little Rascals, which was originally called Our Gang in the movie theaters. The Kid from Borneo. It's very politically incorrect, but it is funny. Spanky's performance is great in that. And anyway, when Our Gang came to television, they called them Little Rascals. I guess you know that. Here's a bunch of these ribbons that used to get in high school or junior high, for the football team. Let me take these into the room next door because that's where I've been hanging a lot of these. Oh, there's the Count Chocula poster. Excellent. Oh man, I built got stuff stacked in here so much that it's hard to open the door. So yeah, I'm starting to put them around in different spots as I'm trying to make it look like this is like kind of like a girl's bedroom circa 1970 with all the big-eyed kids and yeah, the Germanic culture. I don't like to think of it as quite as barbaric as the Northman made it look, but it probably was. I mean, there was a really good battle scene where the main character kind of joins up with, I guess, Russians, and they're attacking some village or compound, and I thought, man, this is like Robert E. Howard's dream, a movie like this. But then there wasn't really any other scene in the. I was kind of expecting the whole movie to be that brutal, but yeah, Viking movies. There's a. It's just a shame what Marvel did to Thor. Now I'm getting confused. I'm like, President Biden, which way do I go? I don't even, because I'm half asleep, and seems like there's something I need to do downstairs again, possibly. Oh, yeah, so I can show you some posters down here, since we're looking at posters. Oh, I should turn the sound down on the TV. That's okay. Oh, man. Please don't give me a copyright claim. That's what they call it, a copyright claim, not a strike. A strike is something serious. Copyright claim just means you can't. That's what I sometimes get, and I don't like that. So here's a Frazetta painting from the Edgar Rice Burroughs Mars books. This painting came with the house when we bought it. It's when it was painted, I don't know, but at the time it was a furniture store. I don't know if you see that little sign hanging there above the porch. And over here, Mount Air. I can't read that, but it looks like that's probably a master charge sign. I gotta get the, well, and they had some TV antennas up there, real high, I guess, so they can pick up Des Moines. It looks like the garage was more like a wooden shed there. It probably still is, with just some siding over it. Okay, here's a Mamie Van Doren Vice Raid poster. Here's one of those, I just put it in a cheap frame for the Frontier in Bethany. I looked up once where Bethany is. Maybe you know and can tell me down in the comments, but it's the smash reopening of the drive-in theater, and there's someone driving right through the screen. Hopefully that didn't happen. These reproduction posters are made by there's an oldies DJ. What is his name? He's on the radio in Dallas, but as a sideline, I guess he collects movie posters, and he makes these really high quality scans of them and sells these posters on eBay. So this was, I think, like a big billboard, along the highway, but I bought this from him. It's just great, the detail, the terrified people. This is the type poster that we got from that guy Johnny that ran that movie theater in the square of Denton, Orgy in Hell. And, movies that you'd never heard of. These are, what they do with these movies is they would, they're called Birth of a Baby movies. So they showed these movies with a pretense that it's educational, that it's showing you the miracle of birth, but it's bold, vivid, true, but clean and moral. So they're trying to show you, supposedly, what'll happen to you if you do the wrong thing. So it's supposed to, and then they've got this, an expert, a dynamic lecturer. See, oh, you can't see right there. Gordon Hale. It was not a real doctor, but supposed to think he was. So anyway, isn't that amazing? Okay, I gotta back upstairs, man. Oh, I was gonna show you some other stuff here. See, this Revenge of the Creature, this is real. This is a window card. But see here, they just stamped the name of the theater, the Dream Theater in Russell, Kansas. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, July 27th, 28th, and 29th. Used to be movies would only play for a few nights in a theater. Anyway, they stamped it, but very badly. So that's what's supposed to be done with the blank space at the top of a window card. See, this one, it was printed more professionally on it. Princess Theater. Now, there's a Princess Theater here just 2 blocks away, but it's not this one. That Princess Theater is Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And here it's the Midway Drive-In Theater, Saturday, September 30th, Brandon's Tomb of Terror. Brandon. I feel sorry for people named Brandon, because now for the rest of their lives, people are going to laugh whenever. So, my name is Brandon. Oh, yeah, let's go. It's like women named Karen. Isn't that a shame that people start using a name as a, what's the word, pejorative? Is that the right word? And then all of a sudden your name becomes a joke. So it's like, oh, I guess I'll start using my middle name, or I'll take on a nickname. Just call me Lucky, or Snoopy, or something. You come on with some name. Oh, man. So, Christmas time. And I showed you my Christmas present. I already have my Christmas present. This skating Popeye with the original box. Can you see that? Yes, indeed. There's the Princess Theater in Bloomington. Is that the same Princess Theater that we saw over on the other side of the room? Let's see. Bloomington. And this one is in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Apparently Princess was a common name for a theater back in the old days. I'm disturbing Drew's sleep here. So, okay. Oh. All right. Yeah, I gotta get these posters done. See, this one I'm gonna hang up somewhere, and it's cool looking, but there's an unfortunate aspect to it. It's the Rex Theater. It's halfway to hell, and but then you realize it's really about prison camps, and that's why this guy is all emaciated. And then it's not as cool when you realize, oh man, that poster's about war atrocities, and maybe I ought to just hang it on the servant stairs, so I don't have to explain to people why I have such a tasteless poster up. Because it's all about decorating with taste here. With a touch of class is how I like to make sure that we decorate here. All right. This is what I was looking for. I showed you the Frankenberry poster last episode. Perhaps you watched that episode. This is the Count Chocula poster. Shit! It's torn. It didn't used to be torn. Horrible things happen in moves. Count Chocula. So I'm going to now lay this flat and not fold it again with his buddy Frankenberry. Here is advertising the 8th series of the Garbage Pail Kids, available here. Highly collectible. Let's see. Okay, all right, okay. I'll put, do I have a place for lobby cards? Where in the name of fucking heck? Oh, I'll do it here. This is a lobby card for Beginning of the End, a giant cricket grasshopper type movie. Beginning of the End. Very good, and it has, no, come on. It does have Peter Graves in it, so you can consider it a prequel to Mission Impossible. This is what he did before he joined the IMF. I've got all this little small stuff. I need another pile. Here's Scooter's radio supply. Captain Strangeliffe is getting new tubes for a RCA radio he bought. But here at 509 Commerce Street in Fort Worth, Texas, in 1953, big payoff campaign. Save these payoff points and redeem them for valuable prizes at Scooter's Radio Supply. And here's some ads. Don't fuss, come and see us. If your radio, TV set, or any electric appliance won't work, we can fix it. Antennas repaired, all work and parts guaranteed, radio tubes tested free. Now, I suppose you've heard that all your tax dollars that go to the Ukraine are then invested by the Ukraine into Bitcoin, whatever, and then the Bitcoin company donates money to the Democrats. So the Democrats give money to the Ukraine. Ukraine gives it to the Bitcoin company. The Bitcoin company sends it back for the Democrats' campaigns. So you've heard that. But the biggest so you kind of realize why we're over there. But the big problem with the Ukraine is that Russia, they're the last people that make these tubes, that make these old televisions work and these old radios work. And so now that everyone's angry at Russia not buying their goods, no one's making those tubes here in this country, that's for sure. So the only hope is to buy old store stock, which that's not going to last too long. So anyway, we need to make up with Russia. Or whatever. So we can keep our old TVs and radios working, right? These are posters that were made by Graphic Man, head of the Four Color Fossils. He takes... I was telling Graphic Man I didn't have this one, and there it is. I do have it. I was telling him, hey, I never got that Tony the Tiger one. Bullshit, I've got it. Here's pretty cool. Oh, this came from Captain Strangeliffe. Very good. So let me see what I can do here. That there. This looks like someone took a page from the Planet of the Apes coloring book and turned it into a campaign poster. That's pretty neat. This is a poster for a Cramps concert, and of course they've used that wonderful imagery. It's from Beast of Blood, isn't it? Something like one of those Filipino movies. Shit. What is this? Oh, it's a naughty Playboy. I got from a friend of mine's store a giant stack of only Playboy Centerfolds. I think what happened is the Playboys that didn't sell, they pulled out, I think they probably tore off the title, sent it back to the distributor to get their money back for the copies that didn't sell, but they pulled out the centerfold from every Playboy that didn't sell because there were multiples of all from the 1960s. So I got a big stack of Playboy centerfolds, which I used to have up near the ceiling in the old house. I might put them in this closet here because it's not very sophisticated to be having Playboy centerfolds out. That would be un-American, even though I've got a couple here. But that's because this is a man cave, actually, here. I guess it's a man cave. This is not real. This is fake, but it's beautiful. So therefore, it used to be in a frame back at the old house. I feel like I'm in Dark Shadows when I say the old house. If you watch Dark Shadows, you know what I'm talking about. The old house that the family used to live in the 1700s, and when Barnabas Collins returns, he moves into the old house where he used to live before he was imprisoned in the coffin for a couple hundred years or whatever. I'll set that down there. What the heck? Okay, so there's going to be a big pile of, more Graphic Man. What the heck? Cool. Okay, so Graphic Man, the amazing artist, he just was at a convention selling these things. And I think the one that sold the best was where he combined Betty and Veronica and She-Hulk. I thought this one was very great. This is the one. I think this was his bestseller. He sends them rolled, but if you just put stuff on top of them for a while, they magically flatten out. Oh, and I love this one. I got to get this one framed. He made, look at what he did, man. I showed this to you once before, but I don't know if I ever got it. Or look at all the people he added into Sergeant. We got Batgirl, and he put the 4-color fossils. I see Meyer Greenblatt up on the top row. He put the Shadow in there. I hope he got, oh man, he's got the Iron Sheik, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dick Tracy. I'm glad he got rid of Aleister Crowley. That was a tacky move for the Beatles to put. Oh yeah, that's me there. Who was that who was in that yellow suit in the original? Was that, I don't know if I'm Ringo Starr or which one I am. Maybe George Harrison. Okay. More of the Playboy centerfolds. There's one where a girl's reading the Sunday Funnies, and that one's really good, and that would be good for this room. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. She's just reading a book here. Let's see. I know it's one of these. It's not this one. See, I'm trying to be tasteful here. Oh, man. It's got some tape on it. Yikes. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. How did this fucking happen? Why in the name of all that is... It's going to damage it, man. This is one of the better ones, too. So, how's your wonderful Thanksgiving going? Perhaps you're someone that doesn't like football, so you're... Shit. So you're watching this show instead. I was never a sports fan because, first of all, growing up, my dad was always working, and I think, he might have taught baseball and stuff to my older brothers, in the 50s, you know, well, you know, maybe not. My dad was a busy guy. And so I never learned the sports rules and stuff. I don't know the difference between a first down and a shit motherfucker. Now, pardon my language, ladies and gentlemen. You motherfucking cocks. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus H. What does H stand for? Yeah, horrible damage done, as you can see. Shit. What is this? Oh, these are things I painted on for John Goris. I went to Winterset and bought these because I didn't have any art supplies because he wanted me to do a painting. And now he sent me some more money. It was weird. He sent it on October 31st, Halloween, and it showed up yesterday. The envelope wasn't damaged. I think the post office was busy doing election kind of stuff. And then I don't know how does a letter take because October 31st, and it shows up, which was a Monday, and it shows up on Wednesday, November 23rd. 24 days to get from Connecticut to Iowa. These are, this is honorable discharges from the Army. June 1950. June 1950 and July 52. I think my dad, then my dad, I think maybe he spent a year or so working in a department store. Then he went back into the Army and retired in 1976. So, you know, I kind of thought he was drafted for the Korean War after college, and that he just stayed in. But apparently he got out for a little bit after the war was over. I really appreciate lead paint. Last episode, or one of the last episodes, I was showing a picture of my father, and from with him parachuting in the background, and he wrote in the last video, if you go in the comments section, he wrote this long letter explaining all of my dad's ribbons and what things mean on his uniform. And he said he did something really important, in the Korean War, to have a particular badge, like something in combat he did that was very commendable. I think I read about that. It was either in Korea or Vietnam. He was commended for, and I have the paperwork for, there were all these guys in a river, and he was getting them up into the helicopter, and moving them up, and he was under gunfire. I think that if that was the Korean War, then that's what caused him to get that commendation. Oh, more Graphic Man stuff. Fantastic. I need to get this all framed, but this house is gigantic, and I'm running out of stuff. I'm running out of wall space here. And believe me, I'm hearing about it. I gotta, give my wife some space, And then my wife's friends watch the videos. Oh, he's not giving you much space, is he? And then it's like, gee, thanks. Because, could you, like, those of you that are my wife's friends, could you kind of, that doesn't help me much. Okay, more girly stuff. This is a window card, but it's bullshit. It's something newly made. It's just it's too perfect, because, everything on it is, like, important. Marilyn Monroe, Some Like It Hot. John Wayne, Fort Apache. Elvis, Love Me Tender. Gene Autry. You're not going to see that normally. because not everything on one card is going to be great and iconic for that time period. You know, you're going to have, yes, Doctor No. That's important. Everyone knows that's the first. Most normal people know that's most abnormal people like us know that's the first James Bond movie. Then you have Devil's Messenger. Nothing against Devil's Messenger, but that's not a movie that most people know. So more than likely you're going to get one big movie and one movie people don't know. But to have everything, Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, John Wayne, Gene Autry, the Bowery Boys, that's too perfect, and that's something I got as a package deal. That would be something I'd never hang up, because you can tell it's not real. Like, I'd be really surprised if this is real, and I don't think it is. First of all, it's in perfect condition. Alan Freed, it's a very good replica. Maybe it's real, but, you know, it's just... You would think if this would be real, a rock and roll Alan Freed, that this would be worth $1,000 or more, you know. All the rock and roll stars. It's 1955, the very dawn of rock and roll music. Dolly Parton. I'm a big fan of Dolly Parton, like all normal human beings. Dolly Parton has put out her own brand of cake mix, which you can't get here. And so my wife has been trying to get this cake mix. So finally she got her mom down in Houston to buy some there in a big city, and she just got it in the mail. The ice, it's got a drawing of Dolly Parton on it. It's like she's the new Aunt Jemima. You can't have Aunt Jemima anymore, but you can have Dolly Parton. And yeah, so anyway, Dolly Parton has her new line of cake mix. Oh, did I finish the story about Lance Jones of Guadalajara? He can't put out his books on Amazon anymore. They're on Barnes and Noble now, which apparently has their own printer where they print books. I think I mentioned that. Anyway, look up Lance Jones on what the fuck, Facebook. This is a book that I have torn pages out of. It has mad posters. It has but some of them aren't. You know, this one's good. Who Needs You? This shit, you could get it at half price books. I'll put this there. What do I do with all this? Okay, this was an advertisement for the Alien soundtrack album. As they were really merchandising this movie, which is, it's weird to merchandise. To me, it was weird when they merchandised Alien. Well, the comic adaptation of Alien was done by Heavy Metal, so at least it was I've got more copies of this. These aren't real. I got like 4 or 5 because I made copies of my friends because I thought that was so cool. Yeah, but when they made all the toys of the Alien figures, I thought, how are they doing that? I thought that was weird. Here's another poster done by my friend. He did these posters in Georgia for this band, the Woggles. This is the envelope that your Esquire calendar showed up in. What is this rolled poster here? Yanks. Oh, this is Elvira rolled poster with the werewolf, Northman. It might be too long. done. I gotta get this done. Oh, this is a great poster. This one I've always intended to frame, and it needs to be one of the next ones framed, along with the poster for, I think it's Beast of Blood, where the monster's ripping his own head off and holding it up on display. But this is a spectacular poster. June Wilkinson, Louis Prima, Twist All Night. This is fantastic. So let's get this in here flat. Wonder what time it is. If you could, please write the time down in the comments below so I'll know what time it is. Because I'm trying to, I've got to get stuff done, man. Here's the fuck does that? Low battery. Oh, I've got a low battery sign. This is Goulardi, who was a horror host out of Ohio. Oh man, look at this. This is a calendar sample. It doesn't have the calendar printed on it or attached to it. It's Jane Mansfield. So I've got that same picture of her downstairs on a replica tin sign. So this is what I'm doing. I'm laying all these posters flat here. And I need to move these boxes of famous monsters. So this is where I'm going to keep my posters. I was thinking that maybe this is where they put bodies when this was a funeral home, but it isn't. I'll show you what it is. I was putting magazine boxes there, but now I've got this other space I can put magazines. I'll show you. Because all those posters, I had them laying flat in this closet in here. And look at this closet. It's weird. You have this step up, but it's like, why is this closet so high? Anyway, this closet, I can put a lot of boxes in. Yeah, I need to get rid of that curly Q light. I hate those. This 2000 Maniacs poster came from that Denton theater. This I Was a Teenage Werewolf poster. It was there was someone that asked about it. Yes, it's real. It was I bought it in Austin at some convention many years ago. Anyway, trying to get this room fixed up, and here's one of those Mad posters that comes out of that book. That's actually a Mad cover. Let me set that down here. I've got to get the electric cord of this phone. The power's going to die, and this episode will end real quick, old man. I was thinking of what was the Han Solo line. This will be a real short trip. Those power couplers come undone. Yes, indeed. It's daybreak here. It's dawn in America. That was Ronald Reagan's line, remember? Oh shit, the music stopped. Cocksucker. See? That's what happens. Video paused. Continue watching? Yes. This fucking bitch. I hate this. It hasn't been an hour, has it? Maybe it has. Bitch. I wasn't talking to you, Drew, sorry. She actually technically is a bitch. But, all right, let's get the electric cord in. And we've got new juice. So now I've got, it probably ended right in the middle of a song, which is really fucking annoying. I'll deal with that later. After this episode is over, which should be very soon, because, shit, I don't have that much memory on my phone. It's actually 7:19 here on Thanksgiving morning. So I'm not being a rat fink and having my wife cooking downstairs. I am getting this show done early, and let's see what it looks like outside. Oh, she asked me to take this down to the basement. Let's do that. It's fry sauce. Our new sponsor, Freddy's Steak Burgers. It's a breakfast of champions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go visit the cats. Now I've had the door open where the cats can come up, and they've made brief forays up. There's Alan sitting there. Alan and Peter both sitting there right at the top of the stairs. There's Pete the cat. Hey Pete, how you doing? You're bored too, just like all the viewers. Okay. We head on down to the snack bar where there's wonderful things to eat. The only working kitchen's down here in the basement, which is not thrilling to my wife. She doesn't really like the kitchen down here. But the kitchen on the third floor, which would be a much nicer kitchen, does not have a stove. They took it out. The dishwasher's not installed yet. And it doesn't have a refrigerator, so that's a problem. And we've got to install a bathtub because I promised her we'd have a house with a bathtub, and there's not a bathtub in any of the 4 bathrooms. And I hear about that a lot. If you know how to install a bathtub, come visit us. And I'll figure out a way to buy a bathtub, and you can help us install it. I think she'd really like it up on in the attic level. Why am I here? I have no idea. Oh, while we're here, I'm trying to turn this into more of a toy room down here. Some of these rooms down here. I'm going to bring the Great Garloo and Big Lou and Rock'em Sock'em robots down into this room. So the next episode, you'll see there'll be Rock'em Sock'em robots over there, and there's going to be a Big Lou here, and back there you're going to see the Great Garloo, and I'm going to bring in a lot of toys. Shogun Warrior guy there. This will be more of a really cool room. Anyway, work in progress, ladies and gentlemen. Damn it. I gotta get these